I recently rewatched the incredible film Singing in the Rain. If you've never seen it, I don't know what you've been doing, but you should absolutely check it out. It's considered one of the best movies ever made. The whole premise is the transition from silent films to the talkie era of cinema. The lead actress that we're watching was a success in silent films, but has one of the worst speaking voices possible.
Concrete jungle, wet dream tomato, about New York.
So then they bring in Princess Leia's mom, Debbie Reynolds, to solve this issue by having her dub all of the speaking and singing for the movie that she's making with. Got me into a rabbit hole of all of the times this actually happened in Hollywood. You know, the most famous example of this, I'm sure you guys know this already, but Marni Nixon wound up dubbing all of the singing for Audrey Hepburn in My Fair Lady, Natalie Wood in West Side Story, and Deborah Kerr in The King and I. 3 completely different women in 3 completely different roles. You're able to see in these 3 clips Marni Nixon's voice coming out of these famous Hollywood actresses' mouths in these films.
I could have danced all night and still have begged for more. I saw you and the world went away. Things I'm learning about you day by day.
A lot of times Hollywood stars will get cast in a musical because the producers know that that's the type of Hollywood star that will bring people to the theater regardless of what the movie is. And rightfully so, they want a safe bet. Sometimes, however, these actors can't sing and the studios don't care because of who the name is. What do they do in that situation? They will just heavily auto-tune it because back in the day, they dubbed because they didn't have autotune. Now we have autotune, so that's what they do. There are certain instances, like Andrew Garfield in Tick, Tick, Boom.
I sing, come to your senses. Defenses are not the way to go. Oh.
Or even the upcoming Wicked films, the casting of Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo.
Popular. I know about popular.
Oh, I saved you some space, by the way.
Something has changed within me.
Like, those make sense. They all can sing really well. But in some cases, they'll pick someone because they feel that that person fits the role, regardless if they can sing or not, and they'll worry about that later. The perfect example is the live-action Beauty and the Beast. Now, I know I'm not saying anything new when it comes to this, because when that movie was released, Emma Watson's auto-tuning was, no one would shut up about it. It was just so horrifically obvious how much they had auto-tuned her voice, as well as Dan Stevens, who plays the Beast. A lot of these actors that do get cast in these roles, they want to do a musical because it'll show off another skill that people might not know they have, and it'll be like, oh my god, did you know that person can sing? That's a kind of a fun surprise. But when you blatantly are auto-tuning someone so heavily, coming out of the theater just like, well, she couldn't sing, but I guess she was an okay belle. So here's a clip of Emma Watson singing from the live-action film.
Little town, it's a quiet village. Little town, full of little people.
You can hear it sounds like dead, tinny, artificial, very like AI-esque in a lot of ways. If you've ever heard like AI voiceovers in videos and commercials, it has that weird computeristic sound to it. So with having these thoughts about, current Hollywood auto-tuning, plus the thoughts of the dubbing they used to do in the golden age of movies, I was wondering what would happen if we actually just dubbed Emma Watson instead of auto-tuning her. If we were to do the dubbing method in this day and age instead of auto-tune, they would have done what they used to do, which would find an actress singer that could kind of mimic the way the actress in the film speaks, so that it would be a more seamless transition. Listening to Paige O'Hara, coming out of Emma Watson's voice is going to be jarring for sure, but I think it's an interesting thing to see how much more elevated the piece feels when you see and hear that combination. Let's compare it to what it would be like if she were dubbed by the original voice, Paige O'Hara.
It's my favorite part because you'll see
it part because you'll see.
Here's where she meets Prince Charming.
Here's where she meets Prince Charming.
But she won't discover that it's him till chapter 3.
But she won't discover that it's him till chapter 3.
And again, clearly, if they were to dub Emma Watson's voice, they would have chosen a singer that matches her speaking voice much more naturally. So it is a little jarring, and I totally get that. But you can hear the difference it would have made, and it kind of makes everything bigger in the performance. It kind of drives me nuts when it comes to this stuff. I know that there's been a lot of controversy about the casting of Rachel Zegler. If you've seen my short about it, you will know how I feel. And yes, Rachel Zegler can sing, but she doesn't really fit the other qualities of the role. So this is kind of like the example where the studio thought Emma Watson fit the role so perfectly personality wise, but didn't fit it in the vocal area. Emma Watson's performance, I think she did a good job. I think the first quarter of the movie, I had a hard time believing she was Belle. And then as the movie progresses, I slowly got more and more on board. But they have in the past cast people that can do both. Two examples of that is Lily James in Cinderella, who Cinderella doesn't really sing that much. She has like one song, maybe two. And I don't even know, it's been a while since I've seen it. If you haven't seen it, that's like, in my opinion, the best live action Disney remake besides The Jungle Book, and I've preached this for years. But in the case of Lily James, she actually can sing, and they did have her sing for Cinderella, and she did fit the role perfectly.
A dream is a wish your heart makes when you're fast asleep. Cinderella.
Another example is having Naomi Scott portray Jasmine, and Jasmine doesn't sing in the animated film, but they wrote a song for her because she is a singer, and she is a really good singer. And I have a lot of problems with the Aladdin live action remake, mostly because I felt Guy Ritchie was the wrong director, and I think they did a lot of it that looked cheap and kind of cheapened the whole style of the movie. But I do think she did a great job as Jasmine, and like this is another example of casting someone that does fit the role and can sing.
'Cause I cannot stop to crumble. So come on and try to shut me and cut me down.
I think in a perfect world, we would just hope that they would cast someone that can sing and embodies the spirit of the character. I know that's difficult sometimes because they don't want to take a risk on hiring an unknown, but to be honest, like I wouldn't have any issue with an unknown portraying Snow White or Belle or any of these Disney princesses, because this is kind of a blank slate that you can kind of start from scratch while being respectful to the original material. So if you have to, though, choose to auto-tune someone or just dub them, I kind of think they did it right in the golden age of Hollywood, where, I'm watching My Fair Lady and I'm hearing Audrey Hepburn speak and act and do a brilliant performance, and also doing a brilliant performance lip syncing to a dubbed track. And you know what? That's okay. It fit the voice well. It hit every note as far as what you wanted to hear come out of her voice for the character and for the music. And it's better than hearing Audrey Hepburn auto-tuned, I will tell you that. So I think that moving forward with these casting choices, either cast an unknown that really fits the part and can sing, or maybe just try the oldest trick in the book, which would be to dub the actress for the musical numbers. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you think I'm crazy? Do you think we should just stick to auto-tuning actors from now on? Or do you think maybe I'm not so crazy and maybe dubbing might be the way to go when you have a person that really embodies a character perfectly, but just doesn't have the vocal chops to do it? Thank you so much for stopping by. I'll see you guys next time.